Hey, welcome back to the Think Bigger Real Estate Show. I'm your host, Justin Stoddart. Thrilled about the topic today. It's one that I'm passionate about, and I was so fortunate to be introduced to an influencer in this space, somebody who helps with personal brand, helping people find the greatness within them and share that with the world. So please help me welcome Jennifer Powers. Jennifer is a master certified coach, top 3% of coaches worldwide. Pretty impressive. She's the best-selling author of a book, Oh Shift. In addition to that, she has actually been a keynote to over 250,000 people. So needless to say, I feel humbled to have a big thinker, how appropriate for this show, a big thinker on today to help us solve the problem of how do we help unlock people's potential and help the world know about these people so that they can make the impact that they're supposed to make. So Jennifer, thank you for coming on the show today. It's such a privilege, such an honor to have you here.
I'm giddy. I'm giddy to be here. Thanks, Justin.
We're going to have a blast. I know that we've had conversations before, and I'm just thrilled that you agreed to come on the show today. And I'm thrilled that my audience, the Think Bigger Real Estate audience, gets a chance to know who you are and get some access to the resources. In fact, I'm going to ask a favor. If at the end of this show, I know you have this best-selling book, if there's even a part of it that you could share, kind of like maybe a digital portion that we could put in the Think Bigger Real Estate group so people can kind of get a taste for that. So can I put you on the spot and say, will you offer that to this audience?
Whatever you need, Justin, you got it.
You are the best. Okay, so here's something that I've noticed, and I'm really going to kind of present this as a challenge that all of us are facing in today's day and age. And then I want to really tap into your expertise to help us solve this. And the problem that I'm seeing is that because of information overload, because there are so many ways in which people are gaining information, that we are all having to make split decisions on the brands that we support, the people, the products, the services. We don't have a lot of time to evaluate. And so as a result, people who are not clear on their brand, people who maybe aren't outspoken and letting the world know who they are going to get passed up. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's becoming more and more so because the competition is becoming more and more. So it really is important to get really clear on that and who you are. Yep.
So I'm excited to kind of dig into that with you, but I think that there's a lot of people, again, this audience is probably very heavily saturated real estate agents and mortgage loan officers. And at a time when their competition isn't just the real estate agent down the street, right? Or the mortgage loan officer down the hall. Like their competition is now Wall Street and venture-backed tech companies that are spending massive amounts of dollars to not only create technology platforms that minimize what a real estate agent does and gets paid, but they're also spending billions of dollars to change the consumer mindset that maybe the traditional path of hiring a real estate agent isn't as important or isn't necessary like it once was. And for any of us that have been on the backside of a real estate transaction to see kind of below the tip of the iceberg, everything that a real estate agent does and the value that the good ones really bring, that thought is not well grounded, right?
I can imagine.
And so real estate agents have to, more than ever, be good at speaking up and sharing who they are. In fact, I was teaching a video class yesterday, and one of the big challenges that agents are facing is the courage to speak up. And I know you absolutely specialize in helping people step into that role. So please take the mic from me and teach us what you do, what you teach people, what your book teaches people. How would you help us solve this problem?
So here's the thing. I want to start by saying, yes, that is an incredible problem that is facing, I think, more than just the real estate and mortgage agents, but overall, there is a move toward, or I should say, away from the human interaction and towards something that's more streamlined. But here's the thing, and we've got to remember this. Humans, no matter how much AI can take over, humans are always going to be humans, and humans have a very special need, and that is connection. So I think in order to stand out among all of those, we need to use what we bring, each individual as humans, and that is the power, the richness, the intimacy, the service, the personability of connection. And I know that sounds like so duh, right? But now more than ever, you're no longer competing with just someone else who can also connect. Now you're competing with something that's going to just streamline the whole process and kick you out, right? So I think we all need to tap into that unique aspect of ourselves that people connect with. So maybe you need to take a poll and ask people that you know or that know, love, and trust you, what is it about me that makes it easy to connect with me? Some people, it might be a smile. Some people, it might be their conversation skills. Some people, it might be that they always have a compliment or, positive words to say. Some people might just be like, you are so intelligent and educated on your experience. That just draws me in. So like find that one unique element that you bring and then exploit it. And I think that's where a lot of folks are missing, Justin, is they're trying to do all things and be all things to all people, and they're getting lost in the noise, right? That everyone else is trying to do all things that all people are expecting. So I think we need to sort of rise to the occasion to bring the greatest asset of ourselves to the table. Fearlessly. Without apology. You know what I mean by that?
How do you, when somebody's searching for that, and I think probably most of us know the things that bring us energy, right? They know the things where it's like, man, if I could do that all day, like number one, my energy level goes up. And number two, like I light up other people. Like I'm really good at that. And maybe it's the paperwork side of the business. Maybe it's speaking. Maybe it's being in negotiations. Is there some other way that you found people to really identify what is their sweet spot?
Yeah. It's easy. You have to stop doing the things that you don't like doing and that you're not good at. It's simple. I spend the majority of your energy on the things that you excel at and enjoy, right? That doesn't necessarily mean the things you have experience in, because just because you have experience in something doesn't mean you should be doing it, right? Do you like it? Because that's when you're going to shine. That's when you are in your brightest, most greatest state of being, is when you're doing things that you are really enjoying. And I don't mean just the job. I mean the things that the way you're marketing. Like, so for example, people have said to me for years, "Oh, Jen, you should really do a blog. You should write a blog." I'm like, you know what? I don't want to write a blog. I hate writing. I don't care what. Oh, you should be on Facebook. You should. You know what? I don't like Facebook. No offense, Facebook. We're on Facebook, but I don't like it. So if I do something that I don't like, how well is it going to come across?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I love speaking. I love networking. I love audio, right? Audio and video. So instead of doing a written blog, I did an audio blog because I like to talk. I don't like to write. So do things that you really enjoy so that you can excel and therefore stand out, and get rid of all the other things, or outsource it.
Yeah. As you're saying, on our previous episode, we actually interviewed a guy who has a virtual assistant company. And that was a big topic of like, people are spending way too much time doing stuff that they're mediocre at, trying to get good at it. And it's like, and what I hear you saying is even taking that to the next level of like, if you don't like it, there's no reason why you should be doing it. And it kind of goes down the theme of like, how do you stand out in such a crowded marketplace? And it's the only way you stand out really is to only do the things that you are great at, right?
Yeah. Or that you love, like that, like you said, that fills you up, that is so easy. Like this is so easy for me, right? Yeah. But if you asked me to sit down and write a blog post today about this, I would yawn first, and then I would dread, and then I would hem and haw. You know what I mean? Like why not be in flow and do the things that come easily to you?
Yeah. No, it's you're right. There's and I've shared this before, that these interviews, again, I do them on a daily basis, and people are like, that's way too much. Like I could never do that. And it's like, but you could do something every day. Like just because it's mine and it actually gives me more energy to be in conversation with people like you that light me up and light up an audience. Like that's part of my legacy. That's what I want to do, is connect, this audience with people like you that will light them up. And that's a joy for me, right? I do 2-3 of these a day, right? But ask me to like organize my database, and it's like, yes, it needs to happen, but it might not need to happen. Like it might not need to be me that's doing it, right? Right. So for the people listening, for the folks out there,
maybe take stock and think about, okay, every time you approach a marketing effort or something that is going to enhance your brand, or your sales effort, think about it. How would you rate this on a scale of 1 to 10, right? In terms of enjoyment. If you're anywhere below a 6, maybe you need to think about outsourcing that to someone else. I think a 7, 8, 9, or 10, you're good to go. But it's like every element. It's not just the work that you do. It's not. It's all the elements that make up your work that you need to give some rating to. And I'm telling you, when I stopped doing the things that I no longer enjoyed, guess what happened to, like, for example, I do a lot of things in my business. I speak, I coach, I teach, I train, and sometimes consult. When I let drop off the things that weren't serving me or didn't fill my soul, more of what I wanted came in, right, in terms of business. And that's true for clients too. If you're holding on to clients serving people that like are stinky, you know, you're not allowing room for the good ideal clients to come in. It's all like sort of energetic space.
I think we oftentimes underweigh this concept of opportunity cost, right? When it's like, this won't take me much time.
Yeah.
But if you were to reallocate that time to something else, what are the possibilities? It's like, oh no, but I can do it fast. And I know I'm not that good at it, but I don't really want to take on the expense of having somebody else do it. But the opportunity cost of taking that on, both in time, in resources, and in energy and passion, right? I think we underestimate the impact that has upon our ability to serve people at a high level and really stand out in a crowded marketplace.
Yeah, I can totally relate to that, Justin. I'm actually guilty of that on several occasions.
Yep.
I love tweaking the website, for example. No one's paying me my hourly rate to tweak a website. You know what I'm saying? But I'll do it because what I think happens is we do that low-hanging fruit that sort of, is fun and doesn't necessarily have a great return on investment. But we do it because it's easy or because we're trying to avoid doing the more important things. So I would question, like, what's that about? Like, what am I trying to avoid when I'm doing like nitty-gritty work, like website updates? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's interesting. No, I've got a similar set of bad habits that it's like just perusing social media, right? Or over consuming. In fact, I was having this thought this morning. One of my dear clients, it's her birthday today. And I thought how important it is for me to use social media as a way to connect with people, but to peruse it aimlessly, right? And allow Mark Zuckerberg to decide what's going into my brain, right? It's not a good use of time. And so that's something that I'm working on is be more intentional, is not just be a content creator, but go connect with the people that matter to me. And then additionally, cut out the stuff that isn't serving anybody, right? Which is that perusing.
Not easy to do because it's like a magnet. It sort of draws you in. So you have to be mindful and, like you're saying, intentional to say, okay, what am I here to do? How is this tool going to serve me, right? And support me rather than defeat me or suck my time away. Right. Yeah, you got to be really intentional, like most things, right?
That's true. Now, I would imagine that if people are stuck there saying, yeah, I know what I should do, but I don't do it regularly. Talk to us a little bit about coaching. You've coached thousands of people, right? And have impacted people on 5 continents, right? And I'm sure that's specifically direct speaking, but talk to us about how coaching fits into that. When people are like, yeah, I know I should be doing that, but I'm having a hard time letting go of this, or it becomes kind of an easy diversion of time. How do you help people unlock from that and really, really focus in on the areas where they're great?
Yeah. Well, the first thing is to allow them space to stop the judgment, right? So I think when we find out we're doing something that is, not the best use of time or unproductive, we'll start flogging ourselves, like, oh, I'm such an idiot. Why do I do that? If I could just stop, why, right? And so when we're using that space, that energetic space to sort of flog and criticize ourselves, we don't have the space to move forward or even the energy. So a lot of people just want to go from, I'm doing this now today, I want to stop doing this tomorrow. I don't recommend that because there's a process in between that you need to sort of let go of the judgment and start practicing acceptance. And what I start to encourage people to do is to say, look at that. There I go. Perusing Facebook again aimlessly, right? And just be with that. Be with that truth. without judgment, practice acceptance around how you're showing up. And when you do that and you can let go of the judgment, I promise you there will come a time when you stop, you get tired of watching yourself do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you're not judging yourself and you're accepting, then and only then can you start to create change. So just watch, observe, be a student of yourself. Because I always say, and I say it in O Shift, in order to fine tune your clock, you need to know what makes it tick. So learn yourself, understand yourself, find compassion and acceptance for yourself before you even try to make any change.
It's almost like coming from a space of curiosity. Like, I wonder why I do that, instead of like, I'm so stupid. Why do I do that? I just wasted like 30 minutes. Like, I don't have time for this. Right. Instead of like you said, flogging yourself, like just be curious. Like, I wonder why I did that. Like, what led to that? Because you're right. That self-awareness is so critical in any sort of change, right? To be able to say, okay, I'm doing this and I know that I need to be doing this. Yeah. Let's try and discover what's the breakdown here. That's a really interesting approach. I haven't heard it said like that. I love it.
Well, and that's what coaching does, right? So like when someone comes to me and says, Jen, I want to stop doing A and I want to start doing B, I'm not going to be like, wow, you are an idiot. Why are you doing A, right? I'm going to go, what's that about? What do you think it's about that, leads you to want to do more of A than B? I mean, this is just the coach approach, and you can do it for yourself.
It's interesting. I love that question, and I've maybe heard it before, but it's a powerful one. Like what's that about? Like let's discover that together. I'm not going to tell you what it is, and you probably don't know what it is yet. So let's put it out on the table and let's examine it, right? Let's walk around and look at it. Like, why is it that I don't do that? Like, so a big challenge that real estate agents have, even to their own personal sphere, right? Is that they know that if they contact those people regularly and add value to them, from those conversations are going to come opportunities to buy and sell real estate, right? Or to help people buy and sell real estate. Yet so often it's like, tomorrow. And they keep kicking that can down the road. And it's interesting to say, gosh, I suck at lead generation. Like, I'm just not good at it. Rather than be like your question, right? Which is really an interesting one, is like, what about that? Like, tell me again, what was the question that you asked?
Yeah. What is that about? Or what am I avoiding? Or what am I afraid of? These are all great coaching questions. But I do want to share something with you. I was working with a financial advisor recently who hated making the cold calls. He couldn't stand it. And it didn't take long through the coach approach for him to realize that his eye was on the wrong prize, right? His eye was on, like you said, lead generation. And when he realized he could shift away from that as being the objective and toward servicing people and helping people get what they need, information, for example, in terms of their financial health, only then did he have a new perspective on picking up the phone. So in other words, he didn't want to pick up the phone to generate leads, but he loved picking up the phone to help people. So aside from just accepting yourself and understanding yourself, the other thing is, what is your intention? What is your goal? If you can create a goal that resonates more with you, then that activity will come more naturally. And doesn't that make sense? Really?
Makes so much sense. It's interesting. It reminds me of a lesson that I had to remind myself of. So I'm not a big fancy speaker like you, but I got my first opportunity to speak at it was a commencement address for a small college here in Portland. And someone reached out to me who'd seen, the videos that I'd done, and they said, would you be willing to do this? And I was like, yes, I will. I don't know what I'm doing. Yes, I will. And it was interesting as I started to catch myself getting a little nervous. Like, this is a big day for these graduates. I don't want to mess it up. And I had to remind myself of a lesson again that was taught to me years ago, is that anytime I'm like feeling nervous, it's because I'm afraid of how this might reflect on me, that I might mess up. Right? Whereas if I come to that audience and say, like, how can I serve you? Which is the same like psychology that you're teaching someone who's having a hard time making phone calls, which is like, I'm not calling as for myself, I'm calling for you. I can help people, and I just want to check in on you. How can I serve you today? Right? Even if that's not what you say, that's what you
intend.
Yeah, that's what you intend. That's what you think. It takes the pressure off. It's not about me. Who cares if I'm nervous about making that call? I'm thinking about myself. Like, forget myself, go to work.
Yeah. It changes the entire content of the conversation. The energy of the conversation changes. And the person on the other end of the line feels it. They feel it, and they'll stay on the line longer with you, I promise, which is really what you need, because you're just trying to build relationships. It'll
Yeah.
come. It
Yeah.
will come. I was just in a speaking in Nashville to an amazing company called Q4 Intelligence. And this guy, Kevin, his philosophy is you don't go from A to B, right? You don't go from no sale to sale. You go from looking for prospects to building a relationship and trust and service around that prospect, so that it's a no-brainer when that prospect needs your services, they come to you. So it's not a direct consumer or a B2B sale. It is a building a relationship and a service-oriented mindset. It's amazing, and it's so simple. But that's what we need to do, circling back to what you were saying earlier about how do we set ourselves apart. Yeah, no, computers can't do that.
Yeah.
No, programs and platforms can't do that.
I've got a friend of mine here that says, while the world is focusing on artificial intelligence, I'm doubling down on human intelligence. And I thought, that's brilliant.
Love that.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Rather than trying to be more like the computers by automating everything, be like what they can never become, which is really, really human, really, really compassionate, really, really caring and service oriented to people. And people feel that. Now, granted, your service still has to be, at an all-time high, but rather than trying to compete in their space, come to a space where they can't compete, right? Which is being human.
Brilliant. And we're really good at that.
Yeah, no kidding. Tell me really quick here as we're going to wrap up, your book, what would people tell me the intent behind why you wrote it. Like, what problem does it solve, or what can people expect, and why should they go find kind of the an e-version of it, and then even go to your website, which I'll put up here on the screen.
Yeah. So O-Shift is really about helping people recognize that they have a choice. So many people feel like they don't have any options, and it's the furthest thing from the truth. So O-Shift reminds people, because everyone knows this stuff, it's just that it needs a gentle reminder, that you can choose your words to create more of the reality, to draw in more of what you want. You can create the role that you want to play. You can choose the role, whether you want to play the victim role or the victor role. And you get to choose how you react to things so that you can create more of the reality that you want. So it's all about the power of choice. I mean, it's inherent in the title. You can say O-Shift with the F versus without the F. You can choose your language, right?
Yeah.
So it really is a reminder that people can create more of what they want by exercising their awesome power of choice. And it's funny too. It's a super funny, fun book.
I'll bet it. With you as the author, I'm sure there's lots of energy and good times included. So thank you for sharing that. And I would encourage anybody who's listening to this, go to her website, oshift.com. And what a different perspective, rather than like yelling obscenities at life, right? Look at life differently. Yeah. And take control and act upon life rather than letting life act upon us, right?
Or Justin, I like to say, just remember that you have the choice to control, you don't, even if you don't do it, it doesn't matter. But O-Shift reminds you that you have that choice. Look, it's totally up to you whether you want to make it, which choice you make, right? So I'm not shoving down a particular choice down your throat. I just want you to remember that you have a choice.
You have one.
And that one choice will get you one result, and the other choice will get you another result, right?
Powerful. I can't wait to read it, Jennifer. I'm actually really, really excited as you kind of describe what it's about. Last question, which is the signature question of this show, which is, what does Jennifer Power, somebody who's inspired people really around the globe, what do you do on a regular basis that allows you to be a big thinker, that constantly expands your possibilities, right? Like some practice or something that you do where it's like, because I do this, I'm constantly growing and expanding and contributing. Anything come to mind?
You kind of threw a lefty at me there. But the first thing that comes to mind, and it's very simple, as is most things that I say, stop working. Stop working when work is done. And I think, I know real estate agents can have a challenging time with this, but there's got to be an off button. Because just like sleep, when we sleep, we regenerate, right? I don't know the technicality of it, but we regenerate stuff. Without sleep, we can't function. Well, without downtime from work, we can't function. And by function, I'm talking about the creativity that you're thinking about, the dreaming, the seeing, the visioning. You gotta turn it off, people. I don't care how you do it, but give yourself that gift, because you need a break. And maybe you already are taking a break, but maybe you need to take more of a break.
It's interesting because some of the most productive agents I know have business hours, right? And it's not 24/7.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I think sometimes people do it simply because I'm doing it because I want to stay married, or I actually want to be a decent parent. But what you pointed out is interesting, that if you want to grow as a person, there's got to be an off switch. Like, we were designed not for marathons, but for like short sprints. And there's got to be a time where we stop and recover before we can sprint again.
Definitely, definitely. And that's where everything starts to regenerate. And that's where you have your most aha moments of what to do next, or who you really are. I'm hearing time and time again. I just heard from a girlfriend yesterday. She's like, oh my gosh, I got away. She went to Maine for like 3 or 4 days, and she came back completely repurposed in terms of her career and how she wants to maneuver it. She wasn't thinking about work in Maine. She was thinking about nature and lobster. You know what I mean? But that's when she had her aha. So it's simple.
And she'll come back a better, more powerful person.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Better able to serve her clients at a higher level. And she may have lost one, but right. Well, but I don't know that would have been a good client that had the expectation that they work around the clock. Right.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. What are you building? Just a business, or a business that is designed to fund an ideal life? And I think that's a big distinction. So awesome point, Jennifer. So fun to have you here. Again, I'm going to encourage the audience to go to oshift.com. And then we're going to give a little sneak preview of the book in the Think Bigger Real Estate group. So can't wait to get that from Jennifer and post that for everybody. So I want to thank you for your time. I'm a fan, and I'm super grateful for you contributing to this audience as you have. It's been a total pleasure. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Justin. Take care.
You too,